Good morning, Twitter friends. Don Murphy, getting ready for another big day on Capitol Hill. It's been a long recess and excited to get back. So before I leave, always check online, senate.gov, house.gov to see what hearings are being held today, maybe what changes there were. And then I make a list of where I want to go and who I want to see. And it's nothing fancy. It's just on this envelope. And it's always worked for me, and you should give it a try. So anyway, take care. See you there. Hey, friends, Don Murphy from the train platform at Halethorpe, as you can see. That was a long one. That's why I don't comb my hair. Getting ready to meet our friends at the Dales Report down on Capitol Hill. It's going to be a good day. We'll see you there.
All right, so here we are. This is what's called the Hart Senate Office Building. This is home to over 100 senators in the U.S. government right now. This is where we're meeting Don. Don's basically going to walk us through, so let's have a quick look inside. Some of the biggest names: Senator Steve Daines, Senator Cory Booker, amongst all the big names. So the opportunity here this morning for coffee this morning, Steve Daines is actually going to be putting on an event beginning at 8:15. So we're meeting with Don, and that's where we're going to right now. So we go through the metal detector. Now down with the metal detector inside the building, and there's the man himself. Good to see you, sir. Good morning.
Dean, welcome to our nation's capital.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Big day today.
Oh, yeah. Very big day.
Going to show us behind the scenes as to what everything's going on.
Under the dome and behind the curtain all at the same time.
So walk us through, I guess right now with some of our viewers that are watching this. What is this building? Who's here? How old's the building? All that sort of stuff.
This is the Hart Building. This is about 50 years old or so. Yeah. It's the newest of all the Senate buildings. In fact, I think it's the newest of all of the legislative buildings. This is where many of the less senior members, if you're a chairman, you're probably in the Dirksen, or if you're a long-serving senator, you may be in the Russell Building, which is the original building, and that's where Kennedy was, and some other big-name senators.
Who are some of the big-name people that you see walking through here every single day?
Anyone who's a senator is really a person of stature here, not because they can pass whatever they want, but because in many cases they can kill whatever they want. So anybody you've seen on Fox or CNN or MSNBC, they're all here. This is the place to be.
It's great. So this morning here at Morning Coffee, Senator Steve Daines is putting on an event. So that's where we're headed to. Got to be there in about 10 minutes, but we'll walk you through, show you some of the footage as we see him and some of the discussions that we ask, all in an effort to hopefully get a question with him, be one of the major sponsors within safe banking. So let's go check that out.
Because Montana has two members on the Senate Banking Committee who actually not just voted for safe banking, but co-sponsored safe banking, Steve Daines and Senator Tester. Montana has done more for safe banking than any other state in the nation. And that's one of the reasons we're here, is to thank them both for their support.
Okay, so what room are we in now? We're
on the 9th floor of the Hart Building, and this is where a lot of receptions are held.
Okay.
Big receptions for senators. Got a nice view of DC, of the monuments. Yeah. And so
when you have some of these hearings, events that go on here this morning, how many people usually show up, and do you get a chance to speak to a lot of these senators right after they speak?
Oh yeah. If you want a picture and all that, that's what happens here. So because it's Montana and it's so far away, there may be 2 or 3 dozen people here at most. Okay. It's not usually a big draw. I've been to some of these where hey, have some more sweet tea, where we made too much Jell-O, that kind of thing. Mike Lee has a Jell-O. Jell-O is the state snack of Utah. Tim Scott has sweet tea because it's South Carolina.
What state draws the most, response or crowd for a lot of these early morning events?
This one might be actually the biggest, not because it's so close, but because this is the one case where a Democrat senator and a Republican senator and their House members actually have an event together. No other state does that, so that's unique.
All right, well, let's go check it out.
Young, Braun, Indiana event. No problem. We have to swing by their office on the way to get the location. I have a tentative on the location, but I haven't nailed it down yet. And then at 9:15, we have our NFL folks and Coach Tuberville, senator from Alabama, who I just happened to see on the street walking in.
A good way to start the day is, I guess you want to talk to people
You could
from
go
Montana,
home now.
right?
People get on planes to fly to DC
Yeah.
to talk to people, honestly, of lesser stature than a senator.
Yeah.
No disrespect to staff, none at all. But we have an issue that is controversial. And staffers don't want to necessarily take a controversial issue to the boss. So that's why I talk directly to members, and that's why it's important for you guys to be here to talk directly to members.
I gotta admit, the people from Montana, very receptive, open. Like you said, I know the lead communications was like, we got to run, but then Senator Daines is like, no, we got time for a couple quick questions.
That's
that was great.
always their job. Their job is to keep. Look, it's one of the reasons I don't often go into offices and talk to staffers, because their job is to keep me away from the boss.
Yeah.
Same thing with you, because they're afraid of the gotcha question. They don't need that. That's unnecessary for them. And we have a bunch of folks here who are good on safe banking, good enough on cannabis. They don't necessarily want to sign on as a co-sponsor, because let's be honest, if a bill never makes it to the floor and never gets a vote, then they're not on record about it. And it's easier to be sort of unknown than known in a bad way. And it's gotten them this far, and they're going to continue to sort of do things that way.
I think the best approach when I'm learning just being here is it's fact finding. Don't have those gotcha type questions. And it's funny when you just ask questions that you want to learn. A lot of the times politicians end up showing their true colors based off of that response, of what I'm seeing, right?
Well, you found that there are a fair number of folks who do not know what we're talking about. They don't know what Schedule 3 is. They don't know the details of safe banking. And I understand that. There are thousands of bills that are filed. And until one comes to the floor or comes to a committee of jurisdiction where you sit, you don't have time to be, I'll also suggest that the industry needs to do a better job of preparing members for these talking points, for understanding. You can't get somebody's vote until you get their attention. That's what being here is all about for me and for you as well. So.
How are you doing, sir?
And running back Ricky Williams from the Miami Dolphins, who I think played for the Ravens for.
I played 1 year for the Ravens.
Maryland.
I was supposed to get drafted by Baltimore.
You had a great career.
Yeah, I don't think we even had a team then. That's why I was cheering for the Bears, because our team left in '84. So.
Well, we had with the Colts and the Bears.
I came out in '82. I was supposed to go to the Colts.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway.
The Colts and the Bears had some real run.
They're here to talk about cannabis policy and appreciate anything you can do to move safe banking along and before the end of this Congress.
Is there anything we can do for you and your team?
Get my bridge replaced quickly.
That's
our top priority right now. We also deal with peace in the Middle East and Ukraine, and we're in business.
That's a good trade-off.
Well, all the money that would be raised through cannabis sales would go a long way toward rebuilding that bridge and everything else. So we're the only folks here not asking for money, actually. We have a way to
business.
Anyway.
Now it's the view is pretty simple. It's a legal business. It should be according to state protections with banking and tax.
Correct.
Anyway, well, tell your friends. Get it going.
You got a good person there.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Senator Van Hollen, want to introduce you to Ricky Williams and Jim McMahon. Ricky played for the Ravens for a little bit. I know he is a Washington fan. You can stop back in. Sure. Senator, I'd like to introduce you to Jim McMahon for the Bears.
Jim, how you doing? Yeah, good
Todd Young is a senior senator from Indiana, right next door.
Yeah.
And you probably didn't have a team. Yes, you did, because you still are a team in '85. So you might have been a Bears fan back then.
No, everyone's a Bears fan.
Yeah.
Everyone's a Bears fan, man. You and
Back then, they used to be good.
yeah, no, it was awesome. In fact, I saw a Bears documentary, the one on Netflix, pretty recently. Now, of the glory days. You came in with your swagger and the fridge and Walter, and it was awesome. It was awesome. What brings you here?
We're here talking about cannabis, banking, rescheduling, trying to get the people more informed.
Great.
And Ricky
I'm on the
Williams?
safe banking legislation, so yeah, really nice to meet you. Hey,
Pleasure.
yeah, nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too.
For a guy from a state that really doesn't have all this, he's about as good as you could be.
Good.
Thank you.
We've had Steve Daines. We're going to see Cory Booker now. Who else did we have? I'm trying to think of here this morning. Like, these are people that you see every single day.
You know, it's funny. Instantly, you can't remember all the folks that we've seen, and I have to.
Rand Paul.
I usually have to take a note card and make scribble down little notes when I'm either on the train. I don't do it in real time. I do it after the fact, and I have to remember. Oh yeah, we saw. You know, I see and chat with so many elected officials in a given day, it just sort of becomes like,
Yeah.
you know, and quite honestly, nobody really cared until recently because of Twitter.
Yeah.
And I don't want to share who I'm actually talking to, because if I want to talk about what I'm hearing, I don't want it attributed to any one person, right? Because I don't want the opposition, you know, to maybe go after them for it. We talk to some members who say, yeah, I'm not a co-sponsor of SAFE, but I'm voting for it.
Yeah.
That's how I know it's filibuster proof.
Mm-hmm.
We have plenty of votes to get this thing off the floor.
What do you think the response has been from some of the people that we've spoken to in comparison to when we're not here?
I think they're actually surprised that you're asking these questions, because almost no one puts a camera in their face and says, hey, what do you think about safe banking? There are some beat reporters who are journalists,
Yeah.
but not TV, not broadcast. No.
Uninformed is the common term I use about this, or hear more often regarding this industry. It's not misinformed or not agreeing with one thing or another. It's a lot of people are uninformed about the nature of the industry.
We expect them to be experts on everything.
They're not.
They are absolutely not. It's incumbent upon us and the industry and others to make this issue a front and center issue for them. There are 10,000 bills that are filed in any given Congress. This is just one.
Yeah. All right, now we are up the street. Saw a lot of senators this morning. Now we're in Congress building to see a lot of congressmen and congresswomen, so set the stage for us.
We're in the Rayburn building. It's the most recent of the 3 legislative buildings on the House side. So this is where all the hearings are held, virtually all the hearings.
So this is where the safe banking hearing is held.
Yep.
All the time.
Yep. So if you want to work Congress, you want to work the hall, a very good place to stand is right here. This is the entrance for the majority party to walk in. Republicans walk in here. Over here is the Judiciary Committee hearing room. So Jim Jordan and all the folks who deal with cannabis on the legal side, not safe banking, they go in there. So you see them coming and going. It's a great place to be.
All right, well, let's go find out and find some of these people.
To your earlier point, this Congress is not responsible for making cannabis illegal, but respectfully, this Congress is responsible for keeping it illegal. And it's incumbent upon you all to make that change.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right.
Nice. Let's do this with the Capitol in the back. Can we get you on these guys?
One question, safe banking.
Dave Joyce, this is Chad
Nice
Gales
to meet
with
you.
the
How
Gales
are you?
Report.
$64,000 question. After being here, you have said that you still feel confidently that we get rescheduling before the election along with SAFE. Do you still agree with that?
Yeah, I think we have to. I think President Biden has to. They have to deliver. How do they not deliver on Schedule 3? We've got 250 pages of evidence, medical evidence, that marijuana is now medicine. Who are these folks here in Congress to stop it? Or who is the DEA to stop it at this point? Cat's out of the bag, toothpaste is out of the tubes, brushing teeth, all that. It's all but a done deal.
What do you think's the big takeaway here, last day and a half that we've been here, and the conversations that we've learned through all the various people that we've spoken to?
The big takeaway is, and the thing that I always knew, but now you know, some members know and some members don't. And safe banking is our big issue. Descheduling, rescheduling, our big issue. It's your number one issue from your viewers. It's not their number one issue.
I got to admit, like an hour ago, and to share this with the audience, I don't want to give any names because some of these congressmen I do want to have on our podcast to talk further, but I did ask a specific question about rescheduling, and some of the response was based on safe banking. And as I was listening right then and there, I'm just like, there's a lot of unknowns, even government officials that don't know the difference between rescheduling and safe banking. That really grabbed my attention.
Even the members who are helpful and want to be helpful and are good aren't experts. And even the HHS secretary, as you saw, sort of didn't know whether cannabis was a 1 or a 5. At his level, he did not know. And that was a shocker to a lot of people. There are 535 members of Congress. Virtually less than 10% are seriously understand the cannabis industry.
It's like there's few that are supporting and pushing the narrative forward in this industry. There's also a lot of people that just don't want to put their name behind it. It's like yes, we'll vote in favor, but we want to fly under the radar through it all.
They'll vote in favor when the bill comes to the floor. Until then, there's no reason to go out on a limb for an issue that may not come before them on the floor where they actually have to vote.
Yeah. Well, on behalf of Guap, Anthony, Mitch, who's been doing great camera work, and myself, for all of our audience that's been watching, we obviously appreciate you so much for what you do. And I think this is one of many trips to come where we give kind of an inside look as to what you do all day, the conversations you have, the buildings you're going to. And I really hope our viewers get a lot of great feedback and get a lot of education for what we've experienced through Don. So smash that like button because this man deserves it. But Don, appreciate everything you've done for us the last day or so.
Thanks for coming out, and I look forward to you guys coming back.
All right. Thanks, Don.
So that was interesting. Good feedback, to say the least, but we want to hear from you. Make sure to smash that like button and leave lots of comments, because the more interaction that we have, the greater chance this video has for going viral. And if this goes viral, and like I said, our industry gets our day in the sun. As well, what companies do you want us to cover? Leave comments below, and we'd love to hear from you, because we wouldn't be here without you. So make sure to subscribe, everyone. And again, thanks for watching.